The gate was 1.4 million. That's US dollars. Attendance was 12,144. The bonuses tonight went to Hakeem, Jethniel, and then Davison and Pantoja. They all won $50,000. Congratulations to them. And then the 50-50 raffle that we did for the Edmonton Oilers Foundation did $75,000. It's a huge number, so very cool. For charity. Woo-hoo. Who has the first question?
Happy birthday, first of all.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thoughts on the main event? I mean, Max Holloway goes out there and lands an outrageous number of strikes again, defends his title. Just what did you make of what he did tonight?
Yeah, he looked good, especially as active as he's been lately, and coming off the 155-pound, shot at the title. I thought Frankie did a really good job. Max has had this thing where he's just been overwhelming people, just walking them down and destroying them. And I think Frankie did a good job tonight of using his speed and his movement to make sure that Max didn't do that to him tonight and was able to, take it to a decision.
Yeah, and you mentioned Max's activity. I mean, it's been 14 rounds for him since December. I think, the general idea is of people thinking maybe the Volkanovski fight in Australia, that stadium show, I'm sure it'd be nice to have a second title fight on there. Is that something you're kind of feeling would be the proper next step, or is that too much too soon?
So I haven't even talked to him. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's got any little nagging injuries or what he's got. He just needs to go spend some time with his family and take some time off, and then we'll figure out what's next. But in the scrums that I've been doing out there, I'm hearing that he's asking to fight again. So I haven't talked to him, but I'm sure you guys, I don't know if you have yet, but he'll be in here in a minute. It sounds like he wants to fight. So still, I'm not going to do anything until he goes home and takes some time off.
Yeah. And on the flip side, Frankie Edgar, comes up short of a UFC title again. What are you, 37 years old, the first guy in UFC history to have 7 hours of octagon time, which is just crazy.
Right.
Where do you see him going from here?
It's really up to Frankie. I mean, when I look at people like him, I'm like, what's left to prove? What's left to, he's done it all. And other than money, what does he need? What does he want? What does he, I know he's a competitor and he wants to win that title again so bad, but he's pushing 40, and I was just talking shit about Faber. Faber just looked great at 40, but who knows? We'll see what he wants to do.
Right. And then the co-main event, Chris Cyborg, Felicia Spencer, tough as nails in there, took some clean shots. This is the final fight on our UFC deal. She's already walking around with Cyborg versus Nunes, 2 shirts, January 2020.
I like it.
You like it?
So I love it. I mean, that's the fight to make. That's the fight I want to make. So we'll see what we can do.
You're confident that you meet or reach a deal with her?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, if that's true, if that's the fight she wants and she really wants that fight, I don't see how we don't make a deal. I mean, if you look at my history in 20 years, how many deals have I not made for a fight? I think it's been like one. There's one fight I didn't make.
Which one was that?
It was, we never got the Russian. Fedor, yeah. I was trying to do that Fedor-Brock fight. That's the fight I didn't make.
Yeah, just last thing from me, off topic from tonight's fight, but you did say yesterday that you are giving BJ Penn another fight. You said in 2013 that you felt he had taken too much damage. You said a couple months ago that you couldn't do this anymore. Why are you choosing to promote another?
Because he terrorized me for friggin' a week and wouldn't stop texting me for 3 days straight and, talked me into it. So we have a deal now, win, lose, or draw. This is BJ Penn's last fight.
How do you ensure that? Is he still under contract?
Because I won't give him another fight.
Right.
Yeah, it's very clear between us now that there won't be another fight no matter what.
Why did you kind of give in to that? I mean, he's taken the most head strikes of anyone in UFC history. I think it's like over 1,300. I think a lot of people are just concerned about him.
If all you people that are concerned are doctors, then give me a call. If you're not, then mind your business.
Hi, Daniel, back here.
Yeah.
Are you concerned at all that, like I said, you have an agreement with BJ, but that he would try to take a fight somewhere else? You ever talk to him about
There's nothing I can do about that. I've voiced my concerns. I've known BJ Penn you know, since he was like 19 years old, and you know, BJ is gonna do what BJ wants to do, and you know, I've had a very crazy relationship with him and his family for the last 20 years, and you know, BJ walked me through a million reasons why he needs this fight and why he has to have it, and he talked me into it. So you guys know me, when I'm in, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. So we're doing this. He's promised me that win, lose, or draw, he will retire after this fight. We'll see if he keeps his promise. He won't fight here though, that I guarantee you. We won't be sitting here doing this again, that I promise you.
After tonight's performance, do you think that Max has clearly passed him as the greatest Hawaiian fighter of all time, in your opinion?
It's tough. I mean, it's, you know, BJ Penn had, you know, was such a huge talent, you know, and I think that BJ was so talented, he never took it as serious as he could have and should have, you know, but without a doubt, I mean, if you look at how small that island is and the talent that comes off that island, it's pretty incredible. They have two of the greatest fighters ever out of Hawaii. It's pretty impressive.
And I wanted to ask about Conor McGregor. He's pretty active on social media today, commenting the officiating, and then spiraling that into all kinds of other stuff. I don't know when was the last time you talked to him. I heard that maybe you expect him to come back in 2020. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I talked to him last week. He wants to come back. So, I mean, really what he's doing is looking to see how everything plays out in September. I was just saying out there, as of right now, Habib and Poirier are fighting. You know how this business works. Anything can happen, and usually does. So I think he's just sort of waiting to see how it all plays out. And does he have an opportunity somewhere to jump in and make something happen?
Did he mention to you any other outside-the-box options, like, of course, the Diaz trilogy, or now George Masvidal has been calling about? Did any of that come up?
Yeah, Masvidal's too big for him, man. I think Masvidal's too big. Conor disagrees. So Conor was not happy that I said Masvidal was too big for him.
Dan, right here. There was an elite level flyweight fight that was on the prelims, and backstage when we spoke to Figueiredo about his placement, he said he thought it was because he couldn't speak English. What do you say to that?
Anderson Silva was our world champion, couldn't speak English for a very, very long time. I don't care if you can speak, I don't care if you can't speak, your fighting speaks for you. This is a fight company. You know, obviously, there's situations where, you know, if you have the personality of a Conor McGregor or, you know, a Ronda Rousey and people like this, it's a home run, it's incredible. I don't care if you can speak at all. If you can fight, that's all I care about.
And there was a lot of talks of Max being the new face of Canadian MMA, considering he's headlined so many fights here in Canada. Hakeem Dawodu took exception to that. He said he's not from Canada. I am, and I want to be the new face of this.
Who said that?
Hakeem Dawodu.
Okay.
After his knockout.
Yeah.
So what do you say when you see young fighters like that who take issue with that after this violent knockout that they had?
I love it. I love it. Speak your mind, pal. Exactly. Tell your people to stop following the Hawaiian guy and start following you. I love it.
What other?
That guy doesn't look like he's happy about anything, though, right? He looks like he's been pissed off since birth.
Well, his nickname is Mean.
Yeah, it fits.
Sorry, last one from us, Dana. What other Canadian fighters jumped out at you from tonight's card? Obviously, this was a great chance to showcase some of that talent.
I thought Canada looked good tonight. I thought you guys represented and looked good. And the whole show. It was a good night for Canada.
Hey, Dana.
Hey.
Just expanding on that a little, Felicia Spencer, I think a lot of people wrote her off coming into this. What was your thought on her performance tonight?
Yeah, so imagine when this woman feels like this is really her house. When the UFC is her house. And, you know, it was her first fight against Cyborg in Canada. You know, when she gets a real, like, solid strength and conditioning program, and you know, there's obviously things. This girl's only got 7 fights coming in here tonight, and you saw her chin, her heart, her determination, her elbows. Impressive. Obviously, you know, especially who she was facing, and I guarantee you, she had a massive adrenaline dump before she even walked out to the octagon. So I think she's pretty special, actually.
Kind of building on that, there's not a lot of competition right now for the featherweights, but Megan Anderson did announce that she's got a fight coming up. Are we going to see more commitment to the women's 145 moving forward?
Yeah. Amanda Nunes is the greatest female fighter ever, and she's the 145, 135 pound champion, and she wants to defend both. So the answer is yes.
And one more for me. I know we talked about Davison earlier. When he was back here, he was saying, I want Benavidez and I want to be for an interim belt if Cejudo's going to be gone for a while. What is the plan for Henry moving forward? Is it Joseph for the 125?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we gotta get back to work on that and figure that whole thing out. But yeah.
Hey Dan, over here. When you look at stature and physicality, do you think tonight's performance by Max sort of ends the conversation of him going up to 155, at least for a little bit?
Well, I think his last performance at 55 ends the conversation of going up to 55. I used to think that he looked big at 45, and then I realized how small he looked at 55.
And then you mentioned about Conor was not happy that you said Masvidal was too big for him. What exactly did he say?
That pisses me off that you said he's too big for me.
So was he texting you to say he was interested in that fight, or just that he was
just I'm telling you guys, I've said it a million times and I'll say it again, this guy will fight anybody. And I don't care if he's pissed off about it or not. I think that Masvidal is too big for Conor. So if we ever get to that point, I'm sure it's something that Conor and I will fight about.
With the welterweight division, just talking on that briefly, we've got Masvidal's on a big sort of tear, you've got Colby Covington and Robbie Lawler fighting, and now Leon Edwards is probably in that conversation as well. Is this the freshest welterweight to look for quite a while?
Yeah, it's a welterweight division. It's ridiculous right now. I mean, stacked with talent and stacked with unbelievable fights and possibilities.
If Colby wins that fight against Robbie Lawler, it could be argued he's the #1 contender. Yeah. Would that mean it's almost the fight to make then would be Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah, that's definitely a good fight to make. The question is, where do you do that fight? And how much security are you going to have?
Dana, over here to your left. John Jones was tweeting earlier this week about Madison Square Garden in November. Is that at all a possibility for him in the headline role?
Yeah.
Have you talked to him about that at all?
No.
Maybe other conversations you're having right now with John Jones?
No, I haven't talked to John. I actually haven't talked to John. But, you know, I don't want to get into that whole thing, but I can tell you this. I saw some videos. John Jones will be fighting again.
You got them on your phone? You want to share?
What's that?
You got the videos on your phone? Maybe you want to share them with us?
Yeah, it's sad.
Sad how?
Sad that something like that would happen to him. And, you know, it's hard to give John Jones the benefit of the doubt until you see the videos. So I think John Jones is going to be fine.
Did you see today he was at a signing in New Jersey and Corey Anderson and his team confronted him? Did you see that today?
That what happened?
Corey Anderson and his team confronted Jones at an autograph signing today in New Jersey. I was just wondering if you saw that and if that's a possible fight for him, Jones against Corey Anderson.
Corey Anderson's turned down about 50 fights in the last month. No.
Fair enough. And back to welterweight for a second. How impressed were you with Edwards, his win over RDA last week?
Yeah, no, listen, I've said to you guys many times what I think of RDA. I got a lot of respect for that guy. He's tough, he's durable, and yeah, it was a good fight. If
Covington beats Robbie next week, is it basically a three-man race for that title shot? It could be Masvidal, Covington, or Edwards. Are they all possibilities?
Covington's next in line. He stepped up. He took the Lawler fight, and he'll get the fight.
If he wins.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Get over here. First off, you go to different countries as you're trying to build your markets. How do you compare Canada to, like, say, Australia or Russia, other markets that you're building?
All booming. I mean, Canada's been a hotbed for years. I mean, when GSP ruled the world, this place was bananas, man. It was crazy. And we still come up here, and the fans are incredible. Love coming up here and doing fights.
After tonight, how much closer are we to hashtag UFC Hawaii?
Not very close. No.
Fair enough. And really quick back to BJ. After his last fight that's coming up, is he still under contract, or is this the last fight on his contract?
Yeah, he's still in contract.
So, okay. As Cyborg's performance tonight, I feel like a year or two ago, that fight probably would have been finished. Do you think that maybe she's past her prime, or how do you feel?
Well, it's one of those things. That's what I was saying leading up to this fight. When Cyborg thought that I was talking shit about her, like she's scared or she's this or she's that. It's not about that. It's you start to get to a point in your career where you start to look at, I'm getting older and those type of things. And believe me, people have jumped ship here for easier fights. And I don't frown on that. When you know you're at that point in your career, this is the absolute best fight here. We find the absolute best, and these are all killers that are here in the UFC. And as soon as this fight was over tonight, but let's also say the girl she fought tonight has a ridiculous chin, unbelievable elbows, a ton of heart, and she showed up. She didn't show up for a paycheck tonight. She showed up to try to win.
Fair to say she did what only Amanda Nunes has been able to do with Cyborg.
Right. And this girl, she's only got 7 fights, but she's undefeated. She's never been beaten. So you can look at that both ways.
And finally, for me, you mentioned earlier that Brock was one of the fights you'd like to make. Is it? Would you say that the ESPN deal is giving you enough leverage that it's just not worth it to give Brock what he's asking for? Is that what the hang-up was, or what was the final hang-up?
It had nothing to do with that.
What was the final hang-up then?
It had nothing to do with that. Brock just decided that he wasn't going to fight anymore.
Thanks.
He was going to do the last deal on his WWE deal, and that was it.
Dan over here, just promoting your next pay-per-view with, the ticket sales look good for Miocic and DC. What are your thoughts going into that?
Sold out. Yeah.
Nice.
They're actually trying to take tickets for me to sell right now. It's good. It's all good. I'm excited. That card's awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. Vancouver's selling really well right now too, so it's all good.
What do you expect from those two come that pay-per-view?
I think that's going to be a fun fight. Stipe's wanted this rematch so badly for so long. He's finally getting it, and Daniel Cormier is convinced that Stipe can't beat him, so it's a fun fight. And then you got, Diaz and Pettis on that card too, and it's ridiculous.
Just one more day, and then we'll let you guys celebrate. The thing on just Max.
There'll be no celebrating this birthday, let me tell you that.
You mentioned Max at 155. You felt that kind of closed the book. That fight with Poirier, didn't have the longest training camp. I think it was announced like 6 weeks out or something. Do you feel if Max maybe had 6 months or something to add the proper weight, fill out his frame, that maybe that would be the better way to have him fight up lightweight and he could maybe fit into that division better?
I think Max looks small no matter what Max does. At 55, up against Poirier, he looks small to me. I don't think there's a way for him to put that kind of weight on. Listen, I'm not saying it couldn't happen and he couldn't ever go back to 55, but I think that I'm a believer now that this is his weight class.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. Have a good night. Thanks again, Canada. You guys are always awesome.